Guys, please confirm to allow the video version screen. Guys, please check all of the video version screen. Check it. All of you get my voice on screen now. Now check it. Now I think so. Now it is good. Right. Good morning, Prabhakar. Now good. Now good. Right. Thank you. All right. Good morning, guys. And check it. What we completed in the last sessions. I think so. We are discussing about pre-processor is required in C and C++, but pre-processor is not required in Java. I think we had some information about this pre-processor related topic. All right, sir. Just let us see one time about this pre-processor and its content here. What we have seen in the last class there. Initially, I have given the location of the pre-processor, the topic I have given in the last session. Pre-processor. Okay, fine. What is the location of the preprocessor in C programming language? If you observe this, location of the preprocessor is part of the compilation, that very first phase. Part of the compilation, the very first phase is what? Preprocessor. From this diagram, we understood this point. Next one is after that, after completion of this, what is the role of the preprocessor? If you observe the role of the preprocessor, what I given information there. In a C and C++, the complete, what I'm telling there, the complete predefined library was provided in the form of what their header files. The complete predefined library was provided in the form of header files. What are the various examples for these header files? Actually, stdio.h, conio.h, math.h. That's okay, fine. Then what next one here? If you want to use these header files in C and C++ applications, and then what we have to use there? If you want to use these header files in C and C++ applications, we have to include these header files. Am I right or not? We have to include these header files. For that, what exactly the intersection here we are using there? Hash include stdio.h, hash include conio.h, hash include math.h. That's okay, fine. Then here, what is the next one here? I said to you, if we compile C and C++ applications, then C++ applications, then compiler, not compiler, preprocessor will perform some work. Preprocessor will perform the following actions. What are the various actions which are performed by C preprocessor there? Tell me guys, that very first action is what there? First, preprocessor will recognize all hash include statements. Am I right or not? Preprocessor will recognize all hash include statements. Observe carefully. Already we are aware about it. What about the second one here? Yesterday already I explained this total part here. Just I'm trying to repeat the total point now. Then what next one here now? Preprocessor will check whether the specified header files are existed or not in a C predefined library. Okay, fine. If they are not existed, then what will happen, sir? Now tell me. Come on, you have to answer for my questions there. If the specified header files are not existed, then preprocessor will raise an error or not? Definitely preprocessor will raise some error if the specified header files are not existed. For example, if the specified header files are existed, now what will happen there? Now tell me, specified header files are existed, then preprocessor will load the specified header files to the memory. Am I right or not? Header files will load the header files to the memory. Now tell me, this total loading predefined library to the memory is called as what there? Now tell me, this type of loading predefined library at a compilation time is called as which type of loading, sir? Now tell me. Static loading. This type of loading is called as what? Static loading. Now come to the conclusion. What is this conclusion here? Preprocessor is required in C and C++. Am I right or not? Preprocessor is required in C and C++. For what purpose there? In order to recognize hash include statements. In order to recognize hash include statements and in order to load header files. In order to load predefined library, in order to load header files. This is mandatory. That's a point here now. So in C and C++, preprocessor is required in order to load header files and in order to load recognize hash include statements. This is what exactly the requirement of preprocessor in the case of C and C++. Am I right or not? But now here my question is what there? After that my question is, in Java preprocessor is not required. In Java, preprocessor is not required. Why preprocessor is not required in Java? That we have to understand clearly. Answer is very clear. Now tell me, in Java, the complete predefined library was provided in the form of what there? Now tell me, in the form of classes and interfaces in packages. Now what are the various examples for these packages there now? Java.io, Java.util, Java.sql. Java.io, Java.util, Java.sql. They are the packages what we are having there. Next one is like what there? If you want to use a predefined library, if you want to use a predefined library in Java applications, we have to import the respective packages. Am I right or not? The respective packages. Right, sir. Then how we are going to import this now? Import java.io.star, import java.sql.star, then import java.util.star. These are the import statements then what we are having clearly. Guys, all of you observe carefully. Then after that, then what's my question here? My point is, if we compile Java application where compiler will perform some actions here. Compiler will perform the following actions. What are the various actions that compiler will perform there? Now tell me, you only tell me. Now compiler will recognize, right? So now compiler will recognize all import statements. Not only that, then what compiler will do there? Now tell me, compiler will check whether all the specified packages are existed or not in Java software. Am I right or not? Compiler will check whether all the specified packages are existed or not in the Java software. Then two cases are available here. What are the two cases now? If the specified packages are not existed, if the specified packages are not existed, for example, then what is the situation here? Then compiler will raise an error or not? Compiler will raise an error. Guys, all of you are following my points now? All right, sir. Now here the point is what I'm telling to you. Compiler will check whether the specified packages are available or not in the Java software. If the specified packages are not existed, then a compiler will raise an error. For example, what is the second case here? If the specified packages are existed, if the specified packages are existed in Java software, then a compiler will not raise any error. Am I right or not? Compiler will not raise any error. Okay, and at the same time, what compiler will do? Compiler will not load any package content to the memory. Compiler will not load any package content to the memory. Am I right or not? Compiler is not responsible for loading any predefined library. Compiler is responsible for loading. Compiler is responsible for checking whether this library is exist or not. Up to that only the compiler will check. Am I right or not? Guys, all of you respond for me. Is my point is clear or not? Right, sir. Now compiler is not responsible for loading predefined library. Compiler is not responsible for loading predefined library. Compiler is responsible for checking whether predefined libraries existed or not existed. Up to that only here we have to understand. That's okay, fine. If compiler is not loading any predefined library, then who will load that predefined library? Right, sir. In Java applications at runtime, JVM will load the required predefined library to the memory. At runtime, JVM will load the predefined library at runtime here. So this type of loading is called as, which type of loading it is there? Now tell me here. Dynamic loading. Dynamic loading. This is one point here we understood clearly. Now come to the conclusion. What is the why preprocessor is not existed in the case of Java? Coming to the conclusion, why preprocessor is not existed in Java? If you come for this point here, point is very clear. In Java, preprocessor is not required. Why? Because what is the reason for it? Now tell me why. Because in Java, hash include statements and header files are not existed. Hash include statements and header files are not existed. Because of this reason, preprocessor is not required in the case of Java. Up to this point, we understood clearly in the last session. And I have given one important interview question also there clearly. What was that question I have given, sir? Now tell me, what are the differences between, tell me, what are the differences between hash include statement and what next one here, and import statement? This is a question, guys. Now I think already you understood this answers for this question. Have you understood answers for this question, guys? Now tell me. Anyway, don't worry, I will share this document to you. That's why I'm typing all the points here. Moreover, you might be taken already, you have taken this documentation. Yesterday's class running notes might be you have taken, but I want to give the total format here. Now tell me, very first difference what I've given there. Now tell me, what is the first one here? What are the differences between hash include statements and import statement? This is my question. Tell me, what is the first difference I've given there? No, hash include statements are existed in which programming language? No, C and C++. But whereas import statements are existed in what? Java. That's the first difference here we understood. Second one is what they are doing actually. What they are doing there? Now tell me, hash include statements are able to include the predefined library which is existed in the form of header files. Am I right or not? It able to load header files content. That's the main intention of like what there hash include statement here we can understand. It able to include the predefined library which is existed in the form of like what there header files. Observe carefully. But now in the case of Java, what I'm telling there, import statements are able to include the predefined library existed in the form of classes and interfaces in packages. Packages here we have to understand. This is another one. Next, what is the third point here? Now tell me, what is the third point here? That means which type of loading they are performing there. Now tell me, hash include statements are supporting static loading, but whereas import statements are supporting which type of loading there? No, supporting dynamic loading. That's okay, fine. Next one is what about this fourth point here I given there? The fourth point would be like what there? Hash include statements are evaluated by whom? Preprocessor. Am I right or not? Hash include statements are executed by preprocessor, whereas import statements are Import statements are evaluated by both compiler and JVM in Java. Compiler and JVM. Why? Because to check whether the specified packages are existed or not, we need to go for like what? Compiler. Compiler will check that. But to load the actual predefined library, JVM must evaluate that import statements. The next one is like what there. If we want to include more than one header file, we have to use how many hash include statements there? No, we have to use more than one hash include statement. We have to use more than one hash include statement. But similarly, if we want to include more than one class, or interface of the same package, then we have to use how many import statements are? Now tell me. We have to use single import statement. Am I right or not? Then single import statement is sufficient if you want to include more than one class or more than one package of the same package. Up to this part we completed in the last session. I think up to this part only I completed. Am I right or not? All right, sir. Now the next point is like what there. Listen carefully, guys. Then the next topic would be, it's very important point. Next one, and that will be like what I'm telling to you. Difference number 3. C and C++ are platform dependent programming languages, but Java is a platform independent programming language. This is a difference. C and C++ are platform dependent programming languages, whereas Java is a platform independent programming language. Right, sir? Answers are very clear. Before understanding C and C++ and Java, platform dependent or platform independent, before these points, first we have to understand when a programming language is platform dependent and when a programming language is platform independent. What is the meaning of platform dependent and what is the meaning of platform independent? That we have to understand. Listen carefully, guys. I'm giving definitions to you directly. Try to observe these definitions. If any programming language allows its applications to perform compilation and execution both on the single operating system, on a single mission, on a single operating system, then that programming language is a platform dependent programming language. Simple, very simple definition. If any programming language allows its applications to perform compilation and execution on the same operating system, then that programming language is what? Platform dependent programming language. All of you are getting clarity or not? Similarly, what is platform independent programming language? No, if any programming language allows its applications to perform compilation is in one operating system and execution is in another operating system, not on the same operating systems. Compilation is in one operating system, execution is in another operating system, then that programming language is called as platform independent programming language. Sir, all of you get my point or not? This is what exactly the meaning of platform dependent and platform independent. Okay, fine. Examples for platform dependent programming language is what? C and C++. Examples for platform dependent programming languages is what? C and C++. Okay, now tell me again, I'm asking to you, what is platform dependent programming language? No, if any programming language allows its applications, tell me its applications to perform compilation and execution on the same operating system, then that programming language is called as platform dependent programming language. Okay, this is as per the definition. Already examples are C and C++. Okay, fine. But here my question is how C and C++ are platform dependent. How C and C++ are platform dependent. We want to know that. So I will give some example here. Try to understand this example clearly. I'll give a diagram. Through the diagram, I will explain to you. Try to understand this diagram now. For example, I will take a C program. I'll take a C program. When I take it as a C program, then extension should be what there? .c or not? That file extension should be .c. First of all, let me give the information as per the diagram, as per the definition. So I need to compile this program. So here we have to perform like what there? Compilation that we have to perform. Now this is like what there? Compilation we have to perform. Now tell me, you only tell me, when we compile the program, automatically here we are able to get one file. What is that file here we are getting there? No, .exe files here we are able to get .exe files. Okay, fine. Next one is after that we have to execute the program. We have to execute the program. To execute this program, here we have to use execution. Execution. Who will perform this execution for C programs? No. Come on. C engine. C engine will perform execution. Now here we are having C engine. Okay, nice. When a C engine is performing this execution, there we are able to get some output. When we execute this program, there we are able to get some output. Here we can see output. Output here we are able to get. This is the scenario. Observe carefully. As per the definition, I want to use, for compilation purpose, I want to use Windows operating system. For compilation purpose, I'm using what? Windows operating system. And for execution purpose, what we have to do there, if it is a platform dependent programming language, we must use the same Windows operating system. Right? If it is a platform dependent programming language, no, there we must use the same operating system what we have used for compilation. Okay, all right, sir. Then we are able to get some output. But for our discussion point of view, I want to take some other operating system for execution, not Windows operating system. For our clarity purpose, I have taken this. Next 5 minutes of time, we have to assume for compilation, Windows operating system. For execution, I have taken like what there? Linux operating system. Just assume the situation like this. Okay. If it is a case, C program is going to be executed or not going to be executed? Not executing or executing now? Not executing. As per the definition, same operating system is required for compilation and for execution. But what we provided here, for compilation we provided Windows operating system, and for execution we provided what there? Linux operating system. So here definitely our program will not be executed. Why our program is not going to be executed? That's my question here. Why our program is not going to be executed? I'll give some points, try to understand it. First of all, let's understand this clearly. This is a C program, source code, C program code that we provided. Observe carefully. When we compile the C program, automatically we are getting what? .exe file. .exe file contains low level code or not? Totally low level representation or not? This is totally low level representation. One point about this .exe file, what I am telling to you, what is this .exe file actually? .exe file contains directly executable code. .exe file contains what? Directly executable code, and it has the local operating system representations. It has the local operating system representations, that is Windows representations. Understand clearly what I'm telling to you guys? What's the point here I'm telling to you? Observe carefully. What exactly this .exe file? Some information about .exe files are given. What is this .exe file? .exe file contains directly executable code, and it has the local operating system representations. That is, what is the local operating system representation? What is this local operating system? Windows. So this .exe file has Windows representations. Yes, sir. All of you get my point or not? So this is the compilation what we completed up to now. This is a compilation what we completed. Now we got the .exe file. It has Windows representations directly. Okay. Now I'm asking my question there. Now tell me where we are trying to perform execution here, and which operating system we are trying to perform execution. Now tell me. Come on which operating system we are trying to perform execution now? We are trying to perform execution on Linux operating system or not? We are trying to perform execution on Linux operating system or not? So now tell me here what I am telling there. C engine was installed on Linux operating system, so it able to execute only Linux represented code only. C engine is available on which operating system? Linux now. So it able to execute only, it able to understand only Linux represented native code. So it able to execute only Linux represented code. It will not execute any other code. Guys, all of you get my point or not? What exactly the point here I'm telling there? That C engine is existed on the top of the Linux operating system. So it able to execute only Linux represented native code, Linux represented executable code. It will not execute any other code. Okay, now tell me the situation here. We compiled our program on which operating system? Windows operating system. When we compile our program on Windows operating system, .exe file is created with the Windows representations. .exe file will be created with the Windows representations. Now you only tell me, these Windows representations are executed. These Windows representations are executed on which operating system there? Now tell me. These Windows representations are executed on which operating system? Now tell me. Windows representations are executed on the same Windows operating system or not? That Windows represented code will be executed on same Windows operating system or not? Everybody has to give a response for my question here. So Windows operating system represented code will be executed on Windows representations only, not on any other representations. Right, sir. Not on any other representations. Try to understand this point clearly. Okay. So if you want to execute this Windows represented executable code at our execution side, which operating system is required? If you want to execute this Windows represented code for execution, which operating system is required? Is that Linux or Windows now? Definitely here we have to provide like what there? Windows representations only. Here we have to provide Windows representations only. Again, I'm telling you clearly, understand this point here. We compiled our C program on Windows. So we are getting .exe file with the Windows representation. So it contains .exe file with the Windows representations. If I give this Windows represented executable code to the C engine which is on Linux operating system, C engine which is on Linux operating system, is it possible for C engine to execute these Windows representations? Is it possible to execute Windows representations by the C engine? Not possible. Why it is not possible here? That C engine is installed on the top of which operating system? Linux. It can understand only which representation of Linux. But here we are providing which representations now? Windows representations. So incompatibility is available or not? Incompatibility is available. Due to that reason, our program will not be executed. Due to this reason, our program will not be executed. But if you want to make execute, if you want to make execute this particular program, if you want to make execute this particular program, then what we have to do there? Simply in place of this Linux, we have to provide what there? Same Windows operating system here we have to provide. We have to use what there? Windows operating system here we have to use. When we provide Windows representations here, Windows operating system, now here I can say like what there? C engine was installed on. Now this time now tell me, C engine was installed on the top of what? On the top of Windows or not? Okay, then it able to execute only which representations can know? Windows representations only. Am I right or not? It able to execute exactly Windows representations. Now tell me. Now if it is a case now we are getting compatibility or not? Now in this case we are getting compatibility or not? What is that compatibility here we are getting there? The point is C program is compiled on Windows operating system. .exe file is generated as per Windows representations only. These Windows representations we are giving to the C engine which is on the top of Windows operating system. Now here C engine can understand Windows representations, so it can execute Windows representations only. Here .exe file is as per Windows representations. C engine is expecting the executable code in Windows representations that already existed here. So if you provide this Windows represented.exe file to this C engine, now C engine can execute this program. Why? Because same Windows representations are available inside this .exe file. So finally, what happened here now? Now to compile and execute our C program, must provide the same operating system or not? Must use the same operating system for compilation and execution of our program or not? So this is exactly the meaning of what? Platform dependent programming language. This is exactly the meaning of like what there? Platform dependent programming language. Guys, all of you are getting my points clearly? This is about platform dependency nature for C and C++. Are these points are clear or not? Okay, fine. Now let's have a little bit small information about this particular point here. Conclusion I'm telling there. Try to understand this. If we compile, don't take any information. I'll share this document to you. Just try to understand what I'm trying to say there. If we compile C program on Windows operating system, then compiler will generate .exe file contains directly executable code, and it has the same Windows operating system representations. And one point we have to remember, from one operating system to another operating system, one operating system to another operating system, where internal representations are varied. Windows is having one type of internal data representation, Linux has another data representation, Unix has another data representation. Like this, operating system to operating system, internal data representations are changed, not to have the same representation in all the operating systems. So here the point is what? If we compile C program on Windows operating system, then compiler will generate .exe file contains directly executable code, and it has the same operating system same Windows operating system representations. Here if you want to execute Windows represented code, then we must maintain the same Windows operating system for the execution. Say Windows operating system for the execution. That's it. Now this is the reason why C and C++ are what? Their platform dependent programming languages. Right, sir. There is a way C and C++ are what? Platform dependent programming languages. That's okay, good. Now I'm asking one question to you. When a programming language is platform independent programming language, that's my question. When a programming language is platform independent programming language, guys, now tell me, What is the definition for it? No. Now tell me, if any programming language allows its applications, now tell me, to perform compilation is on one operating system and execution is on other operating systems, is on another operating system, then that programming language is called as platform independent programming language. Then that operating system is called as what? Their platform independent programming language. Example for this is what? Their Java. Java is an example for platform independent programming language. Okay, but here my question is, how Java is a platform independent programming language? How Java is platform independent programming language? What is the reason why Java is a platform independent programming language? Guys, observe this clearly. The next 15 minutes of time, the topic is very, very important. So don't deviate. Try to put more concentration here to understand how Java is a platform independent programming language. Everybody has to put more concentration. Don't deviate. Yes, sir. All of you are okay? And Ganesh Chaturthi, on which date? 31st, I think so, right? 31st. So people are requested to me, not even in this batch, I think so, from some other batches there. People are requested to me, try to give holiday on that particular day. So that's the request what I got from people. So what I am telling there, I think Wednesday, that will be on Wednesday, 31st. So take a holiday on that particular day. Don't have any problem. But next upcoming Sunday will be there. On that Sunday, I will utilize your session. Understand my point here? Not this Sunday. After 31st, one Sunday will come there. On that particular day, I want to take a session. If you okay, then I will give holiday on this Ganesh Chaturthi. No response. Holiday required or not required? Not required. On Ganesh Chaturthi, holiday is not required. Let's go for voting, guys. Tell me, how many of you are expecting holiday on 31st? How many of you are expecting holiday on 31st? Please raise your hands. No holiday on 31st? If you're not saying anything, what I have to do? Holiday on 31st, please raise your hands. Holiday on 31st. Nice. No holiday on 31st? You raised for both the situations, no? Huh? Okay. But my online people are also be giving, oh, almost all. Holiday is required. Holiday is required. Some people are not required holiday. Okay, almost all. Equally, people are might be expecting the thing. No, I will take my own decision. But I will give intimation might be within 1 or 2 days of time. Don't worry for it. But my interest is try to take a holiday, try to take a class. If you are coming, then I will conduct the class here. But I don't want to lose anybody on that particular day. That's I'm thinking now, as I'm taking classes there. But anyway, I will take my own decision. If myself I need to go for any puja karikramam, it's okay. I'll give all day. Otherwise, I will not give all day. I will take my own decision. Don't worry for it. Okay. Leave this content here. So put more concentration on the topic. Very, very important here. Whether C is a platform dependent or not doesn't matter for us. Comparison purpose, I have given information. But we have to understand Java is platform independent or how? How Java is a platform independent? How can you say Java is platform independent? That is important for us. Okay. All right, sir. Now let's observe this diagram here. First of all, I want to prepare the diagram as per the definition. As per the definition, I'm preparing this diagram. Now try to observe this clearly. All of you observe carefully. This is a Java program here we have taken. Java program. Here the extension is like what there? .java. Here the extension is like what? No, .java. Guys, observe carefully. .java file. Okay, fine. When we are taking .java file here, I want to compile this program. I want to compile this program. So here we are performing like what there compilation. Okay. Now tell me guys, in the case of C and C++, when we compile our programs, there which file we got there in C and C++? .exe file that we understood. But in the case of Java, when we compile our Java program, here we are able to get dot class files. Which files here we are getting there? No, dot class files. Please remember this. Small variation between C, C++ and Java. In C, C++ .exe. Now in Java, dot class files. Okay, fine. All right, sir. Next one is after completion of this, we need to perform compilation, execution over it. Now tell me, Java is a platform independent programming language or not? Definitely Java is a platform independent programming language. So here, one time I'm trying to compile this program. Next, I'm trying to execute this program. Next, I'm trying to execute this program. So here, execution here, we are trying to say, now here, we are going to get some outputs also clearly. After executing our program, we are going to get some outputs also. Right, sir. Now here, I want to say this is execution. Now here, we are able to get some outputs. Then after that, execution. So how many times we are going to execute that program here? In multiple times here, we have to execute that program. Multiple times here, we have to execute that program. Second time, we executed this, and third time, we are trying to execute this, and fourth time also, we are trying to execute this program. Observe carefully. For a compilation purpose, I want to use Windows operating system. For compilation purpose, I'm trying to use what? Windows operating system. Okay. Next one is for execution purpose. For execution purpose, what we are using there. Now here I want to go for Linux operating system one time. And other time is what there? Unix operating system. Right, sir. Unix operating system. At some other time like what there? Mac. And at some other time, I want to use the same Windows operating system. Everybody understand my points clearly. For one time Windows operating system, that means for compilation purpose, we are using what there? Windows operating system. And how many times we are trying to execute our program there? 4 times we are trying to execute our program. Right, in all 4 times, what we provided here? One time is Linux operating system, another time is Unix operating system, next one is a Mac operating system, and the next one is like what there? Windows operating system. Like this, we are having number of executions here. Okay, fine. If it is possible, if the program is executed like this, comfortably we can say Java is what? Platform independent programming language. Directly we can conclude Java is a platform independent programming language if it is a case. Yes, sir. All of you are getting clarity or not? But how it is possible? That is our question now. How it is possible? Let's observe carefully. I'm trying to compile my Java program on Windows operating system. Then we are getting dot class file. What is there inside the dot class file? What exactly the content is available inside the dot class file? If you observe this, I'll give one small point. Observe carefully before this dot class file. Now try to understand the .exe file in C and C++. .exe file contains a directly executable code or not? .exe file contains directly executable code. But in the case of dot class file contains bytecode. Dot class file contains which code? No, bytecode. It is not directly executable code. It is not directly executable code. Guys, observe carefully. It is not directly executable code. It is an intermediate code. It is an intermediate code, and it does not have any operating system. It doesn't have any operating system representations, including Windows. It doesn't have any operating system representations, including Windows. Even Windows operating system representations are also be not existed here. Everybody, understand my point here? Now tell me what we have seen in the case of this dot class file. Dot class file contains bytecode. What is the nature of the bytecode here now? It is not directly executable code. It is not directly executable code. Okay, not directly executable code. It is an intermediate code. It is an intermediate code, and it does not have any operating system representations, including Windows. Even though we compile our program on Windows, no, it doesn't have that Windows representations. It is not including any executable code. It includes only bytecode. That bytecode is an intermediate code, not a source code, and as well as not executable code. Understand my point, Keno? So this is a neutral bytecode, not representing any of the operating system representations. So this is what exactly the meaning of like what there dot class file. Guys, in the future I'm asked one question there. Tell me what exactly the differences between dot exe file and a dot class file. I'm asked this question. What exactly the differences between dot exe file and a dot class file, where we have to give right answers for it. Here itself I can give comparison. .exe file contains directly executable code. .class file contains a bytecode which is not directly executable code. .exe file is depending on the operating system, but a .class file is an independent of the operating system. .exe file is available in C and C++, whereas .class file is existed inside Java. Okay, fine, nice. Now guys, all of you observe carefully here what I'm trying to say now. We compiled Java program on Windows. Here we are getting neutral bytecode, even it is not following Windows representations. Okay, good. But come to the execution part. If you want to execute any code, any bytecode on Linux operating system, that bytecode must have Linux representations. Here execution is going on Linux, so definitely such Java engine must understand only Linux representations, not understanding any intermediate representations. So if you want to execute any bytecode on Linux now, that should not be a neutral bytecode. It must be Linux represented bytecode. Similarly, if you want to execute a bytecode on Unix operating system, that bytecode must have Unix representations. That bytecode must be Unix represented bytecode. Neutral bytecode will not be worked out here. That bytecode must have Unix representations. Similarly, if you want to execute any bytecode on Mac now, that bytecode must have Mac representations. That in intermediate representations or neutral representations are not worked out here. That bytecode must have Mac representations. Then only that bytecode will be executed here. Similarly, if you want to execute bytecode on Windows operating system, that bytecode must have Windows representations. That neutral bytecode must not be executed here. Why? Because that execution is going on with Windows representation. Neutral bytecode will not be worked out here. So still we need that Windows represented bytecode here. If you want to execute this bytecode on any of the operating system, that bytecode must have the local operating system representations. That bytecode must have the local operating system representations. Yes, sir. All of you are getting my point or not? But here, which bytecode is available? Which bytecode is available? Is an intermediate bytecode is available or not? It is not representing any of the operating system representations or not. This bytecode is not having any of the operating system representations. This bytecode is a neutral bytecode. But if you want to execute that in any of the operating system, that bytecode must have the operating system representations. Again, here we are getting incompatibility or not? Come on, guys, we have to understand my point clearly. Here we are getting neutral bytecode, not possible to execute this neutral bytecode directly. That neutral bytecode not possible to execute any of the operating system. If you want to execute that bytecode, here local operating system representations are required. When the bytecode is representing in Linux operating system will execute it. When the bytecode is represented in Unix execution is going on. When a bytecode is represented on Mac, that execution is going on with the Mac. When bytecode is representing Windows, then execution is going on with Windows operating system. But unfortunately, we are having a bytecode that is in neutral nature, that is not having any directly local operating system representations. So again, here we are getting problem or not? Almost a similar problem to C and C++ or not? Whatever the problem we have seen in C and C++, almost the same problem here we are getting or not? Right, exactly here, to execute our Java programs with the different operating systems, to execute Java programs with different operating systems, Sun Microsystems has provided some converters. Sun Microsystems has provided what? Converters. What exactly the converters which are provided by Sun Microsystems? No. Observe carefully. What exactly the converters which are provided by Sun Microsystems here? Exactly here converters are provided. Converters are provided by Sun Microsystems. All right, sir. Observe carefully. Right, sir. What are these converters here we are getting there? Now here, just I want to write like what? This is one converter. This is another converter. Similarly, this is like what there? Another converter. Now here, this is like what there? Another converter. All right, sir. What is the job of this first converter? No. This first converter will take neutral bytecode as an input, and it will convert that neutral bytecode into Linux operating system representations. That Linux representations, if we give to execution, it will execute it and it will provide output. Then what is the job of this converter? This converter job is what there? It will take neutral bytecode as an input. It will convert that neutral bytecode into Unix operating system representations. That Unix represented bytecode will be given to the execution. Now execution will execute that program and it will give some output. Then what is the job of this operating system here? No, this converter here, it will take neutral bytecode as an input. It will convert that neutral bytecode into MAC representations. MAC operating system execution process will execute that program. It will provide some output. Similarly, what is the job of this converter here? The job of this converter is it will take neutral bytecode as an input. Then this converter will convert that neutral bytecode into Windows representations. That Windows represented bytecode will be given to execution. Now the execution will execute that particular program and it able to generate some output. It able to generate what there? Some output. Yes, sir. All of you are getting my points or not? Okay, fine. But how Sun Microsystems has provided these converters? How it is possible for Sun Microsystems to provide these converters? Right, here I'm telling to you clearly, Sun Microsystems has provided these converters along with execution in the form of a separate mission. Along with execution in the form of a separate mission. Here also with this conversion and execution both are provided in a separate mission. Right, both this conversion and execution both are provided in a separate mission. Right, sir. What exactly the mission which is provided by Sun Microsystems to convert neutral bytecode to the local operating system representations and to execute that local operating system representations. To perform these two actions, Sun Microsystems has provided a separate component. That component is called as JVM. Right, sir. Now here also we need what there? JVM. Here also we need what there? JVM. And here also we need what there? JVM. Tell me guys, what is the abbreviation for JVM? Java Virtual Machine. Now in Java applications execution, JVM has two responsibilities. JVM has to perform two things. What are the two responsibilities of the JVM here? Now tell me. First one is converting neutral bytecode to the local operating system representation. That is nothing but native code. Converting bytecode to the native code. Second one is what they're executing that converted bytecode. Execute that particular neutral code. That means neutral code in the sense native code. So conversion mechanism is to convert program from bytecode to native code, executing that native code. So they are the two responsibilities of the JVM. Yes, sir. All of you are getting my point or not? Translation and execution. Translation and execution, they are the two responsibilities of the JVM clearly. Okay, now I'm asking one more question. Try to answer for my question, all of you know. Everybody must answer my question again. How many times we compiled our program? How many times we compiled our program? Only one time we compiled our program. Nice. How many times we are executing our program? How many times we executed our program? 4 times we executed it. Observe carefully. One time we compiled our program. 4 times we are trying to execute our program. That's okay. But here my point is, inside this my point is, for 4 times execution of our program, how many JVMs here we are using? Are there 4 JVMs or 1 JVM? Come on guys, you have to give answer for my question. Is that 4 JVMs or 1 JVM? We are understanding clearly. One time we compiled our program and 4 times we are executing our program. For 4 times execution of our program, how many JVMs here we are using? Is that only 1 JVM or 4 JVMs? Come on, everybody. 1 JVM or 4 JVMs? Let's raise your hands. How many of you are saying 1 JVM? Raise your hands. How many of you are saying 1 JVM? Nice. How many of you are saying 4 JVMs? Only few members. Anyway, answer for this question is 4 JVMs, not 1 JVM. Right, sir. 4 JVMs, not 1 JVM. Think at least if you think about it, then you will get answer. Not 1 JVM, 4 JVMs. Why? Because listen carefully. All of listen carefully. Java is a platform independent programming language because of JVMs. No doubt for that. Java is a platform independent programming language because of JVMs only. No second thought for it. But JVM is a platform dependent. It's a blunder, I think so. You have to understand it. Java is a platform independent programming language because of JVMs only. But JVM is not platform independent. JVM is a platform dependent. Not only JVM, the complete Java software, the total Java software is a platform dependent. Java software we are downloading from internet, we are installing in our system to run our Java programs. Now, the Java software is a platform dependent. But Java programming language is what now? Platform independent. Means that if I prepare any program by using Java, that is independent of the operating system we can run. But whatever the Java software we installed in our computer, that Java software is a platform dependent. Java program is independent. Java software is what there? Platform dependent. Right, sir. You may ask one question to me. Sir, to compile our Java program, we need Java software. Here I installed Windows-based Java software. To run my Java program here, we need Java software on Linux operating system. Yes, we have Java software here, but that is Linux-based Java software. To run Java program on Unix, no, here we need one Java software. That is not Windows Java software, that is not Linux software. That is as per what their Unix Java software. If I want to execute my program on Mac, there also we require a separate Java software. That would be Mac represented Java software. If you want to execute the same program on Windows operating system, again here we required a separate Java software. That would be as per like what now? Windows represented Java software. All of you get my point or not? Now tell me, in this diagram overall, how many types of Java softwares here we installed here? Nearly 5 types of Java softwares we installed or not? That is for one is for compilation and remaining 4 are for execution. Nearly 5 times we installed our Java software or not? So here the point is what? Java programming language is platform independent, but Java software is what there? Platform dependent. Still some of you are not believing my statement. Still question marks are there on their faces now. I can understand. Some of you are having still question mark. Sari is saying theoretically these points no, though it is not like platform dependent. Java is a platform independent. How can you say Java software is a platform dependent? No. But we people are still thinking about this point here. Right, sir? But I want to show some proof for you. I want to show some proof for you. Now try to observe carefully, guys. Now observe carefully. I want to download Java software. I want to download Java software. Now let me go for Java 8 download. I want to provide, for example, Java 8 download. Right, so now here I want to go for some RK downloads. Okay, right click on it and open a new tab. Observe carefully. Whenever we want to download Java software, a Java software links are provided as per what? Operating system wise. Just a simple common sense. If Java software is a platform independent, why Aragil people are giving a separate Java software for Linux and a separate Java software for Unix and a separate Java software for Mac and a separate Java software for Solaris and a separate Java software Windows? Why these many Java softwares are provided? If Java software is a platform independent, why these many versions? No. Why not one single link for all the versions for all the operating systems? No. If it is platform independent, Aragil people will give one simple link for all operating systems like that they may provide. But why they are specifying the Java software links as per the operating systems? No. It means that Java software is a platform dependent or platform independent. Come on, Java software is a platform dependent or platform independent? Platform dependent. But Java programming language is what? Java programming language is what? Platform independent. Java programming language is platform independent, but Java software is what there? Platform dependent. Not only Java software. See, Java software is what? The Java compiler and JVM, Java profiler or Java documentator. All these tools combination is nothing but Java software. So Java software platform dependent in the sense Java compiler is platform dependent, JVM is platform dependent, Java profiler is a platform dependent, and everything is like what there? Platform dependent only. But the program what we have written, that is platform independent, we can compile it on Windows operating system, we can run it on any of the operating systems directly. Yes, sir. All of you are following or not? So this is the reason why, this is what exactly the reason why, Java is a platform independent because of JVMs only. But JVM is what their platform dependent tool. JVM is platform dependent tool. Right, so now this is the simple scenario here we can understand. But here I have a question. One important interview question is available with me. What exactly the question here? Now observe carefully. What are the differences between right, sir, .exe file and .class file? That both we have seen there. In the two explanations I given, that both the information here. Even answer for this question also I given. Interviewer may ask this question there at fresher level. Tell me the differences between .exe file and .class file. And tell me guys, you only tell me what is the very first answer here. .exe file contains, sorry, .exe file is existed, is possible in which programming language there? In C and C++, nice. But whereas .class files are existed, .class files are existed in Java. And one more point I'm telling to you, in a C and C++, it's a bit confusion. Which files we are able to get after compilation? Maybe .exe, maybe .exe file, .obj file, .asl file, maybe some confusion. But in the case of Java, no confusion. In the case of Java, no confusion. Only two types of files. What are the two types of files? No, .java, .class. Before compilation, .java. After compilation, .class. Only two types of files here we are getting. .java, .class. No confusion in the case of Java. But there is a confusion in the case of C and C++. Okay, fine. Now, next one is after completion of this, another point is like what there? .exe file contains directly executable code. .exe file contains what? Directly executable code. But whereas .class files contains a bytecode. What is the nature of this bytecode now? It is not a directly executable code. It is not a directly executable code. It is not directly executable code. Then what next one you know? It is an intermediate code. It's an intermediate code. Observe carefully. Right, sir. It is an intermediate code. Then what next one here? After completion of this here now, .exe file contains directly executable code, but .class file contains bytecode. It is not directly executable code, and it is an intermediate code. Okay, fine. Then what next one here now after that? .exe file is a platform dependent. .exe file is what there? Platform dependent. Whereas .class file is platform independent. Why? Because it contains an intermediate code which is independent of the operating system. That bytecode is independent of the operating systems, not dependent on the particular operating system. This is one point. Another point is what there? .exe files are able to provide lesser security, but whereas .class files are able to provide more security. .class files are able to provide more security. Sir, how can you say this security point, sir? You are not giving any discussion about this point. Now I'm giving some points to you. Try to understand it. There is a one conclusion. Java is a more secured programming language than C and C++. Java will provide very good security when compared with C and C++. There is a conclusion. Okay. Now tell me, as per this conclusion, we can say .exe files are available in C and C++. They are less security. .class file is existed inside the Java, so it will provide more security. This is one direction. But another direction I'm telling to you, try to observe this another direction. No? Nowadays, majority of the viruses related softwares are available in the form of .exe files. Am I right or not? So majority of the viruses, when compared with the .class file, maximum chances are available to introduce viruses related softwares in our computer through this .exe file. Got my point or not? But no virus related software is available in the form of what? .class file. This is general knowledge I'm telling there. General knowledge I'm telling there, not related to any particular topic. In general, some harmful codes are coming in the form of .exe file, but no harmful code will come in the form of like what now? .class file. Even in this direction also, we can conclude clearly .exe files are platform. .exe files are lesser secure, whereas .class files are providing more security. Right, guys. Now this is the total awareness on C and C++ are platform dependent, whereas Java is what their platform independent programming language. Clear? See one suggestion, not suggestion, one information I'm telling there. Anyway, whatever the notes I'm typing inside the class, that I will share with you. But apart from that, in a material, everything I specified clearly. In a material, everything I provided, the total documentation I given in the material. So hard copies are available at our front office there. Try to get that hard copies. Might be Xerox cost they are going to collect. No, nearly 800 plus pages of document is available as of now. Where up to Java 14 versions are included. Remaining 3 to 4 versions, I have to give some handouts to you. By the end of this course, when the time is come for to discuss about Java 15 version 16, 17, 18, by the time I'll prepare the documentation to you and I will give the documentations to you now. But as of now, the Bible, almost all Bible, nearly 800 plus pages of document material is available. Try to collect it. Why I'm telling there, if you have material with you, then I may not go for typing the notes inside the class. I'll put max concentration on explanation part. Even not to bring that total document to our classroom there and maintain that material at your home. After completion of the classes, just one time check that material. Content is going to be available. Anyway, I'm providing videos also. Try to watch that videos. One more time, you have to watch that videos and try to get confirmation. try to get information in your mind. Then by that you can come to the classes. If you do the same process regularly, Java is not at all tough. Java is not at all toughest part. Java is very simple. But only the thing is you have to study regularly. Today I completed platform dependent and platform independent topic. And then try to analyze yourself. And one more small clue I'm telling to you. If you want to remember these concepts of forever, only one simple thing we have to do. What we have to do now, try to explain the same as it is a topic to somebody else in outside. Maybe along with you, some other people are going to be stay with you. So call them, try to explain the same thing. Then why Java is platform independent, why C and C++ are platform dependent, try to explain the same concepts. But while in explanation, try to use English language. Don't use your local language. In the explanation, try to, whatever the explanation I'm giving, whatever the statements I'm telling there, try to repeat the statements. Try to inject the content to somebody else. Then what is advantage for you while explaining this topic to some other persons? No, advantage is what there, you will get complete knowledge on the particular topic. If you are in a position to explain this topic, no, confidence will be increased automatically. Content wise, you are going to be improved yourself. Then you will remember the topic forever. So this trial, if you do know, then it will be okay. Why? Because at starting point I need to discuss somewhat theory. Once the theory is completed there, then I will start programming part. After completion of introduction part, next topic is what there, steps to prepare first Java program, where how to write programs and how to install Java software and how to install editors and everything I will discuss there. But before that, we need to understand some information about Java. That's why I'm taking all these points now. Okay. So from my side, I will give complete support. Material I will provide, PDF document I can provide. Next one is like what there, and videos also I'm providing to everybody. From my side, it's 100%. But remaining thing is from your side only. So everybody has to follow that. This is one thing. And one more thing, I used to conduct a written test for every student. When one topic is completed, there we are going to conduct one test, written test. When one topic is completed, I used to cover one written test. Observe carefully. So everybody has to study at least for the sake of that written test. We are going to conduct tests and we are going to give some question papers to you. There we are going to answer them. Then we have to give that question paper and answer to us. Then we will correct it. We will display that marks and everything in the notice board. So definitely that culture is going on, but topic wise, not every Sunday, topic wise. Not only that, I am planning to implement mock interviews for every student. Mock interviews. In outside might be job guarantee program, people are doing such kind of things. But now without giving word here, I'm trying to implement the same orientation. I'm preparing every student for attending for interviews effectively. So I have a thought, I have a plan. I want to start mock interviews also, but depending on the topic. So first 3 topics, introduction part, steps to prepare first application, language fundamentals. If I complete these 3 topics now, there I will take one mock interview for everybody. So complete Java people, and the next one is like what the full stack Java and basic Java, then ordinary core Java people. For everybody, mock interviews are going to be conducted, but that is totally depending on the topics, how much we covered. By the time we can check yourself, and as well as we can check your knowledge in written tests also. Both written tests and mock interviews, both we are going to take. First priority, I will take the mock interviews there. In the case, if time is not possible for me to take this total mock interviews, no, I will call some other recruiters in outside. Some of my friends, my classmates, my friends, they are doing already taking interviews in outside companies. They are at a manager level almost all. So I can call them, they will come here and they will take interviews for you. This is what I'm trying to implement. But anyway, one by one, we are going to see. On every topic, written test will come. On every 3 topics or 4 topics, no, mock interviews we are going to conduct. How I'm going to conduct these mock interviews? No, on first 3 topics, mock interview, right from starting point to first 3 topics. Then after that, if I complete object orientation, OOPS concepts, if I complete there I will take mock interview. That mock interview is not only on the basis of object orientation. Again, I'm going to take that mock interview right from beginning to up to object orientation. First topic to 4th topic. Next, exception handling, if I complete, again I will conduct mock interviews. We're not only on exception handling. Again, I will start interviews from right from first topic to that exception handling. Like this, I'm planning for it. Then how you are going to attend for this mock interviews there? That don't think about it. We are conducting mock interviews at any store. So casually we can come here and casually we can finish our interviews. No, don't think like that. Even I'm not allowing in this way. In which way we have to appear for that original interviews in the companies, the same appearance and same professional way we have to come. I'll give schedule. Not all the members at a time here. 5 members, 1 hour. 5 members, 1 hour. Like this, I will give some schedule. As per the schedule, that interviews are going on. So you have to come here in formal way. Then you have to wear tuck and you have to come with a clean shave. Then everything what we prepared for your interviews in outside, the same approach, same thing is going to be implemented here. Original interviewers are taking interview for you. At one side I will take, at other side some other recruiters already they are working with a different companies. They are taking interviews for the members. I will call them, they will take interviews for you. So it will be good analysis and good thing for all of it, will be useful for you. That's one thing. And another thing, it is in actually discussion mode. For the sake of the freshers, we are planning to take one separate course like CRT, aptitude, and I think you completed one demo class also there. Actually, I mean the checking of that faculty members there, trainers now. And I think you are not giving any feedback about that class. I think some of you attended there, not all the members. Am I right? I think some of you attended. What is the status of that class? Is that class is good or not? No, no. Then give your original feedback. Why? Because on the basis of that only I'm going to take them. Actually, I need to recruit the people there. I have to do 3 options. One option I give in there. Meanwhile, I was not there on that particular day. I utilized that person there. Then I want to take feedback from you actually. If you say yes, I will continue that person. Otherwise, I will try for another person. Then within 10 to 15 days of time, we will start some batches there regarding that CRT batches. Regarding that CRT classes, those who are in full stack Java development, those are in full stack Java development in offline classes, especially not in online there. For full stack Java development people, that the CRT classes will be available for free. Actually, that was not included in our curriculum, but we have taken the steps now. For full stack people, that course we are going to be included so that you are able to get some advantage. Also carefully what I'm telling you now. So, but I need to take feedback from me, but it's not the way to ask feedback there. I want to get the written feedback. Then if you give original feedback, then I will go for it. 2 to 3 members are available in the queue. I have to call one by one, but one person I completed there. Remaining 2 members I have to call. Then try to check that person's capability also. Now try to give intimation to me. Definitely I will take that person's also. As all of you are getting what we are going to support to all of you know. Try to utilize the support effectively. It's required. Definitely it's required in the point of freshers. CRT is required. That I'm thinking actually. Okay. Right, guys. And anything else? Then today just we completed platform dependent and platform independent programming languages. And tomorrow I want to go for 2 to 3 differences now, not even single difference here. Tomorrow I'm going to discuss about like what there pointers are existed in C and C++, but pointers are not existed in Java. Pointers are existed in C and C++, but pointers are not existed in Java. Why? Pointers are existed in C and C++, and why pointers are not existed in Java? Then what exactly the meaning of pointers? What are the internal concepts here? There also we are going to understand like what there, and some interview questions also be here. We are going to be covered about these pointers now. Anyway, then everything we are going to understand clearly now. So this is also an important topic for us, and tomorrow I'm going to discuss about this pointers content here. Without failure, we have to attend for it. And one more thing I'm telling to you, within few days of time, I want to take your session at what time there? 8:30. Please remember this point in our mind very soon. I'll give the date and the time exactly. Once again, date I will give there. On the date onwards, we have to come at 8:30 also. I'll give that information clearly to you. Okay. Thank you guys. Thanks a lot. And today I want to stop this, and tomorrow I'll come to the remaining part. Thank you. Thanks a lot. Total batch. Remaining batch is going at 8:30.
Problem for me to come at 8:30. That is why I took this 10 o'clock. I'm choosing this 10 o'clock.
but not immediate. It may take some time. Even right from demo class onwards, I'm giving this information.
I am coming from yesterday. Yesterday you didn't mention.
Yeah, that's right. Right from continuously, I'm giving that information there. But maybe then 10 o'clock new batches in the sense not immediate. It may take some time.
How long? Like 15 years?
Maybe more than 1 month or 1.5 months after.
Okay.
Yeah.
So maybe next 1 week, if the timings might change to 8:30.
Yeah, exactly. Compiler dependent. Java software is platform dependent in the sense compiler, JVM, all tools inside the Java are dependent. I will give information there. Yes, I am in course structure now. Then once if I complete it, then I'll give that information. But in your minimal only. Don't think too much about it. Uh-huh. But anyway, then that will be useful at every time. And ఒకటండి then if you want to set your career in Java there, then Java, core Java, advanced Java, the Java stream is going, but along with the databases we require. So databases and UI technology, these are required definitely. So then better plan for these courses one by one. Why? Because we are at the Java side. Definitely we need some UI technologies and definitely we need what their databases now. See, one thing I'm telling you, even though you joined with the company, but at the end of the day, you must require all these things. Even after joining with companies also, you must need. Why? Because might be then. See, I'm giving some number of options to you to attend these classes there. Okay, then try to check that possibility. Might be after 2 months of time also, don't stop learning process. Your learning process should be up to 1 year of time. Understand my point now? Why? Because you have to complete the total everything about Java. Then only you'll be comfortable in our companies. Otherwise, you will not be comfortable in our companies. Even you are getting job now, within a week of time, they will give some work to you. Directly, they will give work on Spring Boot. What you will do? You know them by because of that reason. Even they are going to give some corporate training. Maybe 1 day total core Java, 1 day advanced Java. They'll finish now. They will not give the total analysis part. So because of that reason, you have to thorough these topics as much as possible, as well as possible. So try to complete these courses. Even after getting job, don't stop this process there. Okay, badges are going to be available. So 8:30 to 10 o'clock. Same content, no difference. Even their syllabus is very less when compared with us. Now we are going to discuss up to Java 18 version. In the company's point of view, Java 8 or 9. Maximum 8 hours complete course they want to complete. Databases and Oracle OT. MySQL Oracle better. Oracle Java development in the sense Oracle. Oracle next one better. Oracle next UI technologies. Yeah, even next one. ఒక్కసారి ఆఫీస్లో కనుక్కోండి బెటర్ చెప్పారు థ్యాంక్ యూ better. Yeah. And guys, and these metals will be provided through Google Drive. PDF metal you are able to get, but anyway, class notes I will share with you. Don't worry regarding this. Okay. Yeah, just one time talk with Bhavani guys, then relate to these videos and all. Then she'll be available. Okay, then she will give information to you. Okay, guys, that's okay, guys. That's all for today, and then tomorrow we'll see the remaining content. For online students also, I'm planning some mock interviews and tests and everything. I'll conduct there. I'm planning for it for online students also. Yeah, sure. Okay. Thank you.